Last minute. Washington is on the verge of revolutionizing its defense with 3 explosive moves that an elite linebacker with an $87.5 million contract is waiting for the call, while our executives consider investing $20 million per year in a young player with unmeasurable potential but questionable production. And the most shocking move, the possible sacrifice of our interior defensive anchor for a quarterback hunter who might be past their prime. With the market opening tomorrow, these decisions will determine whether we're building a contender or wasting another season. The moment of truth has arrived. If you're a true fan, you can't afford to miss what's coming. Subscribe now and be the first to get every detail of this historic rebuild. Are you ready for what could be the biggest move of the offseason? Because what I have today is a bombshell that could change the course of Washington's defense. Now, let me ask you, do you think Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are playing chess or Russian roulette? Because Gary Davenport's prediction from Bleacher Report is crystal clear. The Commanders might sign free agent Harold Landry III, an absolute beast who was just cut by the Titans. We're talking about a linebacker with an $87.5 million contract, and Washington has the big money to pay him. Let me tell you, this Harold Landry is not a project. Before tearing his ACL in 22, this man was an absolute force. 70 tackles and 9 sacks for 3 straight seasons. And after the injury, he came back with the same fire. But now I ask you, is it worth throwing huge millions at a player who's already 28 with a history of knee issues? Listen up, Commanders family. The window to win a Super Bowl doesn't stay open forever. After last season's unexpected trip to the NFC Championship, this team has to go all in, and Landry could be the oxygen tank this defense desperately needs. But let's break this down realistically. Can he keep up that dominant level? Or will this be another case of money down the drain, like we've seen before? Now, the million-dollar question. Why sign Landry when the draft is loaded with young talent? Because the win now mode doesn't wait. And with $53 million in cap space, Washington can afford a big splurge like this. But don't get it twisted, Landry is expensive. And if he doesn't deliver, the regret will be massive. And watch out, the NFL's legal tampering period starts tomorrow at noon. Do you think Peters will make the call in the opening hours? Or will he go after a younger name? Here's my raw opinion: Harold Landry is a gamble, but he's also a necessity. With Chase Young out of the picture and the threats in the NFC East getting stronger, Washington can't afford to roll the dice in the draft. They need immediate impact. But if they sign this deal, the medical staff must guarantee that his knee can hold up for 17 games plus playoffs. Because a mistake here could crush the team's hopes. And now, the question for you, Commanders. Community. Is Harold Landry the defensive piece Washington needs to reach the Super Bowl? Or will this be an overpriced contract that drags the team down in the future? Commanders community, pay attention. Free agency is about to explode. And Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated just dropped the first big clue. Odeyingbo could be the name Adam Peters is eyeing to reinforce the defensive front. But what exactly are we looking at here, fam? A young talent with upside, or an overpriced gamble for a rebuilding team? Let's break this down. First, the cold facts. Odeyingbo is 25 years old, with 15.5 career sacks and 42 pressures in 2024, but only 3 sacks last season. 42 pressures and just 3 sacks. Now, let me ask you, does that justify paying him $20 million per year? Because that's the rumored price tag. Sure, his athletic profile fits exactly what Dan Quinn is looking for: size, explosiveness, and versatility. But what if we're just seeing potential and not actual production? Here's the problem right now: the Commanders only have Dorrance Armstrong Jr. and a 7th rounder, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, as the only edge rushers under contract. Seriously? This is a DEFCON 1 emergency. They need consistent quarterback pressure, or this team will be nothing but a flash in the pan in 2024. But hold up, it's not all bad news. On the upside, Odeyingbo is young, improving. Every year, and with Quinn coaching him, he could break out. Yes, it's a gamble, but Adam Peters has $90 million in cap space. Why not invest in someone who could be a long-term cornerstone? But wait! Let's not forget about Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals' defensive end. 14.5 sacks in 2024, a proven leader. But it would take a trade and a massive contract to get him. Is it worth giving up draft picks and big money for a 30-year-old player? Here's my final take. If Peters bets on Odeyingbo, he's buying raw upside. It's risky, but with a coordinator like Quinn, he could blossom into a star. But if he flops, $20 million a year for an average player would be a historic mistake. And now, the question for you, would you rather invest in Odeyingbo young, with upside but unproven, or go after Hendrickson, established but expensive and older? Comment below with hashtag Odeyingbo or out or hashtag Hendrickson Hustle. Don't sleep on this. Fam, the legal tampering window opens tomorrow and moves will come fast. The Commanders can't afford another free agency disaster. This is war and every decision matters. Are they trading Darren Payne for Trey Hendrickson? I've got all the details. Big shakeup in the Capitol, Commanders fans. What's going on with Washington's defensive line? Because the rumors are heating up like a July wildfire. Did they just offer Darren Payne for Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals? I'm telling you right now, fresh off the press, according to Jordan Schultz from Fox Sports, our Commanders are in the spotlight to acquire the sack monster Trey Hendrickson. And guess what? Cincinnati put him on the market after he requested a trade. But what would Washington have to give up? Here comes the controversy. Folks, Bleacher Report is proposing a trade straight from the underworld Darren Payne plus a third-round pick in exchange for Hendrickson and a fourth. Now let me ask you, is it worth losing Payne, a 27-year-old pillar, for a 30-year-old day with 2 years left on his contract? Think about it. Hendrickson is coming off an absolute beast of a season, 17.5 sacks. But Payne, he's a bulldozer in the middle. And now, right when Dan Quinn wants to build the defense from the outside in? You tell me. Or is Quinn repeating the Dallas formula with Micah Parsons? Because, folks, if they're looking for outside pressure, this is the big move. But wait, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Do you know why Cincinnati would even consider this? Because Payne is 2.5 years younger, he's under contract until 2026, and he arrives just as B.J. Hill hits free agency. And they have the cap space. But for us, would we be losing a top 10 defensive tackle for a defensive end who, while lethal, is already in his 30s? And what if Hendrickson's peak is already behind him? But pay attention, Quinn's defense thrives on quarterback pressure, with Fowler Jr. hitting free agency and no other edge rusher logging more than 5 sacks in 2024. Wouldn't Hendrickson be the lightning bolt we need? Imagine this. Allen and Payne, if they stay, collapsing the pocket from the inside, and Hendrickson plus a first-round rookie, Jarrett Verse, maybe, trapping quarterbacks. Would that be enough to compete in the NFC East, the division from hell? But here's my key question. Commanders fans, is Dan Quinn sacrificing the future for a quick win? Because Payne is in his prime, and Hendrickson is already on the decline. Or is Quinn, based on his Dallas experience, convinced he can replicate Micah Parsons' impact with Hendrickson? And wow, what would you do? Because we're talking about giving up a third rounder, which stings for a fourth, but getting a Pro Bowler in return. And at the same time, freeing up cap space. Could that mean signing, I don't know, a young quarterback or an impact wide receiver? Final verdict, according to me. If Quinn and Adam Peters believe this move makes us immediate contenders, do it. But if there's any doubt that Hendrickson can maintain his level beyond 25, be careful. Because losing Payne could leave us with a huge hole inside for years. Now, I ask you, Commanders Nation, Would you rather keep Darren Payne and build the defense from the inside, or take the risk with Trey Hendrickson for a glorious 2025 season? Will Harold Landry be the key piece to take the Washington Commanders to the Super Bowl, or a massive contract that could sink the team's future? The defense needs reinforcements, but is he really the answer? Would you invest in a young talent like Odeyingbo, full of potential but risky, or go for a proven veteran like Hendrickson, established but expensive? The decision is crucial. Hashtag Odeyingbo out or hashtag Hendrickson hustle. Defend your stance in the comments. And here's the debate. Splitting the fan base. Do we keep our identity with Darren Payne or go all in for 2025 with Trey Hendrickson? Is it worth sacrificing stability for a shot at short-term glory? This is your community, Commanders fans. We want to hear your opinions, debates, and passion for every team decision. Are you ready to be part of the hottest conversation in the NFL? Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join this family that beats to the rhythm of burgundy and gold. Comment, debate, and let the Commanders revolution begin. And remember, hail to the Redskins!